As kids, we all learned to read, albeit we probably learned in slightly different manners. The truth is, most of us grew up reading short stories that often had a rhyming scheme. Theodore Seuss Geisel, better known as Dr. Seuss, is iconic for this type of writing. I'm credible to speak on this topic based on research I have done, as well as my personal experience with his books, my favorite being Green Eggs and Ham. Theodore Seuss Geisel was a unique author and led an interesting life. Theodore adopted his famous Dr. Seuss pen name as an undergrad student at Dartmouth College and carried it with him as a graduate student to Lincoln College, Oxford. Seuss left Oxford in 1927 to begin his career as a cartoonist and illustrator. He started off illustrating for various publications, some of the more famous including Vanity Fair and Life. Theodore also worked as a cartoonist for advertising campaigns, most notably Standard Oil and Flit, F-L-I-T. He also worked as a political cartoonist for a New York newspaper known as PM before becoming a children's cartoonist. In 1937, he wrote and illustrated his first book, And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street. Once World War II erupted, Seuss took a break from publishing children's books and got back into political cartoons. During the war, Seuss also worked for the film department of the United States Army. While working for the Army's film department, Theodore produced several films in both animated and live action. One film he produced, known as Designed for Death, won the 1947 Academy Award for Best Documentary Feature. After World War II ended, Theodore returned to writing children's books. After the war, Seuss wrote most of his children's book classics. He wrote most of these between 1950 and 1960. Some of these classics include If I Ran the Zoo, The Cat in the Hat, Green Eggs and Ham. Many or most of these stories were adapted into movies or short films sometime later on. One of Seuss's more famous film adaptations was of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It was actually helped along by a friend he had made when he was in the Army's film department. Seuss actually related rather well to the Grinch's character. He related so well to the change in heart that the Grinch had that he actually had a custom license plate made for his Buick that said Grinch in capital letters. Seuss even managed to write and produce his own musical and film. The production, known as The 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T, was released in 1953. The film failed both critically and financially. Geisel never attempted to produce another feature film, and it's believed it was due to the failure of The 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T. After the failure of his first film, Seuss rebounded rather well. He ended up being challenged to write a children's book using no more than 250 different words. The result is the infamous The Cat in the Hat, in which he uses just 236 different words. Geisel continued to write in his new simple rhyming scheme and is best known for these types of works. In 1956, Geisel received his honorary doctrine from Dartmouth, which made the doctor and his pen name official. After that, Seuss fell on some hard times. His first wife, who struggled with illness her entire life, eventually took her own life on October 23rd, 1967. Seuss remarried on June 21st, 1968. Despite having two marriages and dedicating most of his professional career to writing books for children, Seuss never had any children of his own. Seuss's stance on that and is quoted as saying, on the topic of children. You make them, I'll entertain them. On September 24th, 1991, Geisel died of cancer in his own home in California. Nearly 5 years after he died, the University of California, San Diego, renamed their library to the Geisel Library to honor him and his first wife for their many donations to the school. In conclusion, Theodore Seuss Geisel redefined the art of children writing over the course of his life. He overcame many challenges to succeed, but his writing continues to impact young readers today. Thank you.